Okay, so today you'll be learning about the area of trapezoids. Okay, the area of trapezoids. Okay, so I'm gonna first show you the sixth grade reference chart that you're gonna have in the start test. I am recording, okay, in case you're confused. So this is a reference material chart that you're gonna get in sixth grade. You have it right now in color red on your desk. We're gonna focus with this guy, the trapezoid, today. And this is a formula we're going to write. A equals half of base 1 plus base 2 times height. Right now, I'll explain how we're going to do it. Just give me a chance. Questions with what we're going to work with? The area of a trapezoid. You'll have this in the start test, but I'm going to make you change the formula to a way that you understand it better. Okay? Now, the activity you're going to work with is going to be this guy. All these are called trapezoids. Listen, because now you'll be confused. This is a trapezoid, that's a trapezoid, that's a trapezoid, all of them are trapezoids. The whole 8 questions are about trapezoids. Now, do you know why a trapezoid is a trapezoid or no? Do you know why a trapezoid is called a trapezoid? That's what, yeah, that's not the reason, but that's what I've heard before. Here's a reason. Trapezoids have 2 pairs of parallel sides. So let me explain what I mean about that. Okay? Let me show you with these colored pencils. This side right here, the yellow side, is parallel to the pink side. You see how they're parallel? Trapezoids only have 1 pair like that. Now these are not parallel. You see that? And some kids will say they're not parallel because they'll meet. The real reason that they're not parallel is because the distance is not the same at every point. From here to here, it's 5. It increases to maybe 6 or 7, I don't know, and then eventually to 8. When something is parallel to each other, let me zoom real good. The distance from here to here, from this point to this point, is 4 centimeters. From here to here is 4 centimeters. From here to here is 4 centimeters. Most teachers in elementary taught you that parallel means 2 sides that never meet. But I want you to know the other definition that goes with parallel. Parallel is this, guys. Please listen. Not only don't they meet, the distance apart is the same at every point. So from here to here, would this distance be the same as this distance? No. That's why those 2 are not parallel. Now these would be parallel because the distance will be the same at every point. If this is 10 inches, guess what this would be? 10 inches, 10 inches. Question with parallel lines. So like for example, on a paper, like this guy, it's a perfect rectangle, right? Yes. These 2 would be what? Parallel. Why? Because look at my fingers. They stay exactly the same distance apart at every point. These 2 are parallel too. Now on trapezoids, you'll see that the trapezoid, let me get up, trapezoid. See, this guy is a trapezoid also. You see that A? That A is parallel to B because the distance from here to here is the same at every point. C and D are not parallel because the distance from here to here is smaller than the distance from here to here. Questions? I'm going to pause the video. Okay, here we go. So your first step, listen, trapezoid. Now we know what the trapezoid looks like, right? Do we have a question with the trapezoid? It has only 1 pair of parallel sides. Since you see the top and bottom, and if they want the area, when they want the area, we're going to go quickly to the math chart, which is this guy. Not that guy. This one. And we're going to copy that right now exactly the way it is. So I have it by memory, so you just copy me. This is from the star chart, the star math chart. You better listen because now you'll be all confused. A means area equals half of B1, which is base 1, plus base 2 times height. Where did I get that? From the math chart. You also have it there in the red. Yours on the desk is this guy. It's right there. Area trapezoid. You go to the right side and it's right there. A equals half of base 1 plus base 2 times height. Questions? The problem though is that we're not so good with fractions. So I'm going to make you rewrite this. But before I make you rewrite this, let's pretend that I go to the mall with Ashley Velasquez. Let's pretend. Okay? And she feels like a cookie. Those cookies that they bake there, the nice cookie place. So I go buy one because if she wants a cookie, I'm going to get her a cookie. So I bring the cookie and I tell her, go ahead and cut the cookie in half because it's two of us. Or one for your teacher and one for the student, right?
Ay, esta girl.
So ni modo que como novios. So listen. So listen. So I tell her, when I cut it in half. Now think about this. When you cut something in half, what does it really mean? Yeah, but what does it mean in math? Like if I tell her, here's a cookie, let me go get the drinks now. Good, what to say that? It's dividing. When I cut something in half, you divide it by what? Good job, sir. Divide by 2. You understand? So that half in the front, means to divide by 2. So because of that, I'm going to rewrite the problem. So this is from the math chart, right? But we're going to write it this way. A equals base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. You see that guy right there? That guy is this guy. But we do better with bottom out. We've been doing bottom out since the first 6 weeks, right? Divide by 2. We're not so good with fractions. So Mr. Rivera prefers that we change this to divide by 2 because, like I shared, it's like me and Nancy were at the mall, or me and Alejandro were at the mall. I don't care who was with me at the mall. We buy a cookie or a pie and I cut it in half. That means that we divide it by what? 2. So when you cut something in half, it really means divide by 2. Question. Tú te tienes que acordar de esto. Esto no está en el Start Test. Este está en el Start Test. Pero tú tienes que acordarte que lo vas a tener que escribir así. I want you to learn it this way because it's easier for you to do it. That's why. Questions? Okay, this is just like little notes. So we can just do a bubble around. In your handout, it's also there. This is the one, put a little square on the one from the start math reference chart, and then circle the one that we're going to really use. That we have to remember that this guy means this guy. When I cut something in half, I'm dividing by 2. When you're married and you go, let's say you get a divorce, guess what happens at the end? You have to cut everything into what? Half. Divide by 2. So if you own a house, you're going to sell the house, and whatever you sell it for, you're going to divide by 2 between you and your wife. You own a car together, you have to divide by, sell the truck or the car, or decide you keep it or mutually keep whatever. Same thing. You have dogs, 1 and 1. Or one of you is going to take the dog, the other one keeps it. It's going to be divide by 2. Okay? You cut everything into half. You divide by 2 the trapezoids at the end.
It's weird.
Okay, let's do a question now. Number 1. Ready? So number 1, we have a trapezoid. And they want the area of the trapezoid. Look, here's the trapezoid. They want the area because it says here, find the area. Find the area of each trapezoid. So my strategy, once you know that you're dealing with area, you're going to quickly write this as my strategy. You know how I always give you a strategy? Well, when we're working with area or volume, you're gonna quickly write WTF. And it does not mean what the, you know what?
What the fuck?
Not bulk. It means write the formula. So the area of the trapezoid, what's my strategy? WTF. So when your mom sees that, don't tell her that we're learning the other WTF. It's write the formula. When do I write that? When we're dealing with area and volume. Write the formula, area and volume. Questions? So what's the formula? Well, we just talked about it. It's going to be A equals base 1 plus base 2 inside parentheses times the height divided by 2. Where did I get that? From the math chart. From here. From right there. But instead of putting the half, I said screw the half and put divide by 2 on the bottom because half means divide by 2. Because when I went with Alejandro to the mall and we bought a cookie, we divided by 2. Which means we cut it in what? Half. Questions? So this is the one that I want you to use. So step 1, write the formula. Questions with that?
No.
Step 2, change the letters, substitute the letters for numbers. So I'm going to get some numbers from here. The smaller side of a trapezoid, these are the parallel ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
The smaller one is called base 1, so go ahead and put B1. The largest side that is parallel to base 1 is base 2. And the 4 is going to be your height. Now let me talk about the height, which is this guy right here. The height in math is always the one that forms the right angle. It has to form the right angle with the bases. Questions? I'm pausing again quickly. Okay. As I mentioned right now in class, when I stop recording, that when you go to the doctor's office, they'll put you straight to the floor, making perpendicular right angle right there, and then they measure your height. They won't make you, bend over and get like this on a slant, right? They won't do that. They'll get you straight here to get the right angle. So these here on the sides, those are not the heights. The height tiene que ser un ángulo recto 90 grados. Questions with the height? Okay, let's practice quickly. Who's the base 1 and number 2?
5 centimeters.
Who's the base
bad,
1
number
in
two.
number 2?
42.
42. Who's base 2?
48.
Who's the height?
41.
And why is the height 41? Because it formed the right angle. Right here on the top, it forms one, and right here on the bottom, it forms another one. Height and base have to form a right angle. If not, you have the wrong height. Let's practice one more. Number 3, who's the base 1? 18. Who's the height?
4.
4. I changed it on purpose to see if you're listening. Who's the height?
26.
Who's the height?
Oh, 4.
4. Why is 4 the height? Because there's a right angle right there and another one on the top also. Mira, ahí está una ahí arriba. Okay? Who's base 2? Questions with the parts of the trapezoid? Okay, what's your question? These 2 sides, we don't care about them.
Okay.
Now, if they wanted the perimeter, I would care about them because I'm going all around. But they want the area of the trapezoid. So I just care about base 1, base 2, and the height. That's why I'm telling you that you better know that the height has to form a what? A right angle. So this guy's asking about this. Do I have to worry about this one? No. Because that's not the height, because it does not form a right angle. You see that corner right there? Is that a right angle? No, that's an acute. You see that corner over there? Is that a right angle? That's an obtuse. That's why we don't worry about the sides when we're looking for area. Questions? Yeah, I don't care about that one. Okay. Now, go back to your work. We're going to substitute all the letters for numbers. Do you know the A for this problem?
No.
No. Do we know base 1?
Yes.
What's base 1?
We're starting with number 1?
We're doing number 1. 5. Who's base 2?
8.
Good. We're doing number 1. Who's the height? 4. Now, many kids do this, but then they forget about, guess who they forget about? The 2. You can't forget divide by 2. That's part of the package. The half is divide by 2. You can't forget about divide by 2. Okay, have we changed all the letters to numbers?
Yes.
Except A, because that's what we're looking for. That's why we don't know. Now, what do I do first? PEMDAS, right? So who goes first? 5 plus 8. So put the caret there with these 2. You know what the caret tells me? To do that only. That's it. What's 5 and 8? You have a calculator. I'm letting everybody use a calculator because we're just practicing. 13. So now bring down the A. This just became what? 13. Bring down the 4. Bring down the 2. So this just became a 13. Everything else just comes down. Questions? Who's next? Multiply or divide? Multiply, because he's on the top. He's on the top, so he goes first. So multiply will go first. Go ahead and calculate that in the calculator.
52.
How much did you get?
I got 52.
What does that number next to parentheses mean?
Multiply.
So 13 times 4. How much did you get?
52.
52. Now bring everything down. Don't forget about the 2. What's the last step?
Divide.
Divide. Bottom out. 52 divided by 2. You have a calculator. So who do you punch in first? The 2 or the 52? The 52. Divided by 2.
26.
How much?
26.
26 square centimeters. That's the way you read this. Later on, I'm going to talk to you about why we call area, why we measure area in square units. Later on, I'll tell you what that means. Okay? I'm going to go now to my paper, and I'm going to find which one has 26.
Yellow.
Yellow. So you see that number 1? I'm going to go to the back, and all the number 1s, I'm going to color them what? Yellow. Questions?
No.
Let's try another one to make sure that you understand this. I'm jumping to number 4. They want the area of what?
Trapezoid.
Of a trapezoid, right? The area of a trapezoid. And what's the strategy when they want the area of the trapezoid?
WTF.
WTF. Write the formula, not what the fuck. Please. Hulk Middle School. The very best. WTF means write the formula, guys. So tell me what the formula of a trapezoid is when you're finding the area. Give it to me. A equals
Base 1.
base
plus
1
base
plus
2,
base 2 inside
H.
parentheses times the H. What am I forgetting?
Divided by 2.
Divided by 2. Why do we divide by 2? Because on the math chart, they're telling me to cut it in half. By the way, in your worksheet, I have it there too. Look, it's right there. It's right here in your worksheet. Divide by 2. In the math star, it's going to be like this. I need to remember that half of something means to divide by 2. Okay, so we wrote the formula. What would be the next step? We wrote the formula. What's the next step? Change the letters to numbers. Do I know the A?
No.
Leave it alone then. Do I know base 1?
Yes.
What's base 1 in number
27.
4? Number 4. 27. What's base 2 in number 4? 35. What's the H in number 4? 22. Am I forgetting something? What?
Divided by 2.
Divide by 2. Don't forget that all trapezoids are cut in halves. Okay, now let the calculator do the work. Who goes first? In PEMDAS, who goes first? parenthesis goes first, right? So put the little caret there, punch in those. You know what the purpose of the caret is? So you can know what I'm going to do first, what I'm going to do second. We only do 2 numbers at a time and bring everything down. How much did you all get?
62.
A equals
62.
62 inside parentheses. You see that caret? That became 62. When I added those 2, it became 62. Now everything else comes down. So you see that 22? Bring him down. You see the division symbol, which is a fraction bar? Bring it down. You see that 2? Bring it down. Who's next? Multiply 62 times 22. Put that caret right there. And tell me how much you get when you multiply 62 times 22.
1,300.
What? That sounds wrong. 62 times 22. Come on, guys. You have a calculator. I'm not even making 1,364. Am I done? Everything comes down. Now let's do this. But you know what? I want you to practice to set it up. So let's set it up outside. Bottom out. So we can practice how to set it up. Even though we're using a calculator, let's set it up. Set it up like that. Now use the calculator. How much do you get when you divide 1,364 divided by 2? 600 what? 82. Square what? Go read. Square what? Go read. We're doing number 4. Square what? Square feet. Good. Tomorrow, when I see you again, because tomorrow we're compass testing, I'm going to tell you why we call this square feet. Some of our Mr. Rivera also might even give you more information because he actually would remodel homes and things like that, right? You were like into construction too. So we'll talk about that later, why we call it square units, square feet, square centimeters, square yards, whatever it is. Question with number 4.
No.
I'm doing one more with you all. The last one, number 7. What do they want again? They want the area of a trapezoid. We're just working with trapezoids today. And what's the strategy for Mr. Rivera when you're working with area? What's the strategy? WTF, which means write the formula from the math chart. A equals what? A equals what? Base 1 plus base 2 inside parentheses h times height
And then divided by 2.
divided by 2 because it has a half in front. Now we're going to substitute the letters for the numbers. Do we know the letter A, what it has? Do we know the A? No. Do we know base 1? 134. Do we know base 2? 158. Do we know the height? Do we know the height? 107. Thank you. Am I forgetting something else? Yes, what? Divide by 2. Why divide by 2? Because it says half. Now, who do I do first? PEMDAS tells me to do whatever's inside parentheses first. So these 2 go first. That's why I like to put the catch if you know what I'm going to do first. Now, later on, guys, you're not going to use a calculator. You're going to have to go to the side and calculate on the side. Today, I'm letting you use a calculator so you can just practice how to use a formula chart.
Sure.
134 plus 158 according to, it's going to be 292. So bring everything down. That became 292. Bring everything down, everything down, everything down. ¿Quién sigue? Multiply 292 times 107. Now I'm going to write over here because I'm out of space. That's what you can do. What's 292 times 107? Do we know how to read that big number?
There.
Anyone? 31,000?
244.
244. Good job, mija. 31. Good job, Jocelyn. 31,244. And don't forget about divided by 2. Oh, did I talk about the color for number 4? What was the color for number 4? Light blue. Any number 4, you're gonna color it light blue. What's the final answer for this guy? What's the final answer for this guy?
22.
No. Bottom out.
15,000. Oh.
15,622. What color would that be? Square feet again, by the way. What color would that be? Pink. And then you color it. Let me see one of yours that's done. You're done? Hey, let me see one of yours so you can get an idea.
What time is it?
It should look something like this. Very nice and beautiful. If you just color it, but there's no work, it'll be a 0. Okay? All the work has to be shown. If not, I will give you a 0. So don't think, I'm just going to color it and that's it. No. I want to see the work behind it. Questions?
Do we finish it?
There's going to be a video. You finish for homework. If you want me to put it up for open house, you give it to me before like these kids did.